This content is brought to you by Huawei.
From an engineer's perspective, if you think human as a system, sleep is that downtime for that system that nature has chosen to heal the human body.
In our first episode, we dive into the fascinating world of Sleepiz, a groundbreaking startup revolutionizing the way we understand and improve our sleep. Join me, your host Cedric Bullock, as we explore the innovative solutions and the impact Sleepiz, founded by Soumya, is making in the sleep industry. Discover the inspiring journey of Sleepiz, gain valuable insights into entrepreneurship, and learn about the importance of sleep. Produced by Video House and proudly sponsored by Huawei, join me as we delve into a captivating conversation with Soumya, the founder of Sleepiz. Together, let's embark on this exciting journey of exploration and discovery. So we got to start at the beginning, you know. So
I'll let you guide me.
Yeah. So let's just start at the very beginning. You were born, and then what happened?
Good question. So to give you a background, I think I'm Soumya Dash. I'm born in India, a small town in the eastern part of India. I had, since the beginning of my memory, quite some, let's say, inclination towards engineering and problem solving, entrepreneurship. I did not know those traits are or would be classified as being entrepreneur. Now we know that. But it, in a sense, did come naturally. I'm an engineer by education.
Mm-hmm. You did ETH, no?
Yes. So I did my bachelor's in India. Post-bachelor's, I decided to go a bit more deep into the technology to understand more the physics behind the engineering that we were doing. That drove me to Germany. I studied at Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, then ETH Zürich. As an Erasmus Scholar student, you have the possibility to move around. Post-ETH, I had the more drive to go more deep into the technology. I pursued my PhD from ETH then. And that's when I stumbled upon the more, let's say, well-defined framework of transferring my skills both on the tech side and the aspirations to solve problems, to bring changes together, to fuse it, and that gave rise to what we see today, Sleepiz.
Right. So tell us, I mean, for me, it's all like deja vu because I remember vaguely your story. I remember everything, but how did you get inspired, to tackle, I would say, the issue with sleep?
Let me take you back a bit more on, I spoke about being an engineer, but I did not give you full purview. Engineering is very, very broad, And I am specializing in a fact of wireless communication, understanding how machines interact wirelessly, to be more precise, and these electromagnetic waves, and the interaction of electromagnetic waves and the matter, how does that happen? And that has been my specialization. We have seen the advancements of these technologies in mobile phones, the cellular connectivity that we are looking and admiring today, and the opportunities it has unlocked is an example of this technology. And this technology is being now used to communicate, what's happening in Moon or Mars and so on and so forth, And at ETH, we were basically pioneering in this particular domain, unlocking opportunities to go beyond of what a human mind could comprehend. As I was kind of delving into that, I also saw what's happening in our current world, where I could see people and challenges in the current healthcare ecosystem, which were very, very rudimentary, During my time at ETH, I had the opportunity to visit sleep lab, for a whole different reason, And I was always aware about the importance of sleep, but I did not pause and think about it until I was really there to see how people understood sleep. And the first time when I saw those technologies that they were using. Okay,
It's generous. You call it technology.
I think the video
tubes are not technology.
I mean, you see that, you put ton of wire on the patient, and then you ask them to go and sleep with ton of cameras looking at them. And that was 21st century, and that was in Switzerland. That was like, the most developed country that you could call. And if you could just extrapolate what's happening in any other nation, it's like, it became more obvious to me. And as a curious person, okay, I continued to ask more and more questions, and it was becoming more and more clear to me that there is a huge gap between how we perceive sleep, the importance of sleep, the use of technologies in sleep, and so on and so forth. And medical sciences have made ton of advancements, but somehow sleep was completely neglected.
Why do you think that happened? Why do you think it was neglected?
I mean, there are many reasons behind it. Okay, one that comes to mind, and that COVID has also unraveled, is that we are very, very reactive. Very reactive. Okay?
So someone has cancer, we have a pill.
Exactly.
Or someone suffers, we give them.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the big reasons. And whenever we are doing something, we are already treating the symptoms that we are able to visualize. Okay. You also see that in mental health. Okay. It's a very important aspect of who we are, and it is completely missed out in the medical sciences. You go to any hospital, you have respiratory department, you have cardiology department, you have that department. And
you have psychiatry.
Psychiatry, but it's a very small one. That's what I'm saying, okay? Look at the others, the importance has, basically shrunken. And that's where somewhere it got lost. Other entities or departments were more pushed forward, and it was predominantly because of that reactive nature that we had.
I mean, like what I heard, maybe, I don't know if you agree or disagree, but like what I heard is very often our medical health system is more focused on treating the sick than,
exactly. I agree.
Making sure that the healthy stay healthy. So it's, as you said, you call it reactive, but I would say it's more like if someone is sick, let's see what we can fix, versus like, oh, you're healthy, like let's keep it that way, which is also the big discussion in longevity. When they say like, okay, like how can we prolong life and stuff like that?
It's good that you say the second aspect that you mentioned. Okay, if someone is healthy, let's keep them healthy. This is coming right now. Okay, people are realizing this and are embracing to this new way of life. Okay. And I am very, very hopeful with this, okay, because this opens the door of preventative care. So we are now starting to talk about how can we continue to be healthy, okay, and the quality of life, longevity, and all of that is now coming to the discussion, and I'm very, very hopeful towards that particular.
But tell me, what role does sleep play? I mean, I remember from the book we discussed it before of Why We Sleep. I mean, he goes there into like. I remember very, very vividly how he tells like this story. I think it was that book where he says like, you have a child, it's born, and you say, look, your child is fully healthy, but a third of its lifetime, it will be in a coma, and it's totally normal. So like what role you say, like, overall health of a human being, you as a sleep expert, like where do you feel like, what is the role of sleep?
No, thank you for asking that. Okay, clarification. I'm not a sleep expert, though. Okay, I'm working on sleep, and we are trying to understand that. To put it in a simple terms, okay, it's kind of classical to assume that an adult sleeps around 8 hours every day, and if you take that and extrapolate, it's basically 1/3 of your lifetime, okay, that you will spend sleeping. It's a very vital time in a human's life. Okay, from an engineer's perspective, if you think human as a system, okay, sleep is that downtime for that system that nature has chosen to heal the human body. Okay, our human body is basically rejuvenating during this very important phase, and sleep plays a very, very vital role in in our well-being. Okay, to the extent that if there are anything abnormal with our health, these are also very clearly seen during sleep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fascinating. I'm like fascinated because I think it's like whenever like I personally have like say a challenge, whatever it might be, whether that's a headache or stress at work, and you go to sleep, even if it's just for an hour, you feel so rejuvenated.
Exactly.
Which is great. I mean, like, you know, whenever you talk to, I'm sure when you talk to startup investors, they say like, oh, market opportunity here. I mean, like literally everybody in the world is sleeping.
Everybody. Yes. Total addressable market is
But the addressable market is
everybody.
everybody, and whoever is born is immediately a potential customer. But tell me, like, what is the market that you're targeting? Like that you're saying, like, this is like where you see the highest opportunity.
So first of all, thanks for putting into that perspective that everyone sleep. Okay, and this is actually one of the common denominator that we have. Okay, at Sleepiz, we are trying to look at how can we understand and define health of a person. Okay, essentially that well-being. Okay, status. And there are many ways to look at it. Okay, people are looking from a nutrition perspective, exercise perspective. Okay, there are other preventative measures perspective, and these are very variable across different people. However, when you look at any human being, the common denominator across wherever you are from is sleep. So we are very, very forward-looking in the potential that Sleepiz has with this fundamental thesis. Having said that, okay, our immediate focus is, or our strategy is not to go very broad and kind of a spray and pray, but rather to be very, very specific, okay? And we are going after a particular disease and going very deep into that, okay? And then going segmenting, from one disease to other and so on and so forth, okay? Trying to capture much broader horizon, but in a very focused manner, okay, solving the problem of that one chosen disease segment before we move to the other one, okay. One of the challenge in such a thing is that the first one is always what takes the highest amount of time and effort and so on, but thereon the reusability index is very, very high. You could think of it as a platform play, okay, compared to other startups in other verticals, okay. Once you've rolled out one, okay, the second one, it's basically 10% differentiation, okay, or customization towards targeting that second disease, if you will, and so on. In that context, the first disease that we are tackling is sleep apnea. Mm-hmm. More than 1 billion people suffer from this. It's a respiratory-related sleep disorder wherein you have pauses in breathing while you're sleeping. And this pauses causes abnormal oxygenation and deoxygenation in your body, which leads to microarousal and hence an incomplete sleep. Mm-hmm. And people who are suffering from sleep apnea, they are heavily underdiagnosed. And you can imagine the reason, okay? The current clinical care is not supported to enable early diagnosis of this, because you have to go to a sleep lab, you have to make an appointment, you have to sleep with a ton of cable, okay, and then wait for days for the result. Okay, this is.
What are some of the symptoms? Like someone who hears it now for the first time, it's like, actually, sleeping is not ideal. What should they look out for to say like, we probably have to look into it further? Obviously, not being any medical recommendation here.
Yeah, I think if you're starting to feel tired during the day, okay, and if you are snoring, okay, I think then you should definitely get checked up for sleep apnea, okay. Mm-hmm. If you have a spouse or you're living with someone, okay, typically they are the one who basically raise the alarm, okay, that we have seen that you have these pauses and you wake up. But people who are really suffering themselves, they don't have any memory of that. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the biggest challenge or hurdle in people realizing it. My advice to general public is that they need to understand sleep hygiene, okay? And they need to make sure that once in a year, they check themselves or they screen themselves for sleep apnea, or if they are at a risk of sleep apnea. Mm-hmm. because it's a disease that you're not born with. Okay, some are, but you can catch up with your lifestyle. Okay, changes in your working conditions. Okay, type of work, and so on and so forth. The best thing that one can do is to have this regular checkup. We do that typically either for gynecology or for dental treatment. You have this, a habit
Once
of
a
at
year.
least once a year or twice a year. For sleep, I would highly recommend people to do it once a year at
Right.
least.
So I have to play a little bit the devil's advocate, okay?
Yes.
So don't take it personal. But I have to say that I'm wearing a Garmin.
Yeah.
I mean, the statistics that I see and the data that I get, I mean, the only manual input I put in is my weight. Everything else is more or less measured by itself. I see 24/7 my heart rate. I see my sleep in different types of REM sleep and deep and light and all of it. Tell me, how does that, what you have over here, how does it differentiate itself?
This is actually a very, very good question. Okay. I think there are a ton of other wearable companies, including Garmin. They have made a lot of progress in the domain, creating more and more awareness around wellness and well-being and sleep. However, what is critically missing when you're talking from a disease perspective is that fundamental measurements of these key parameters that are relevant to diagnose. In case of sleep apnea is the breathing. Okay, what you fundamentally want to understand is when was those pauses in the breathing. Okay, and that is something that breathing is defined by the functionality of your thorax and abdomen. Okay, and that is not being measured by these technologies, and this is where we come in. Okay, we not only provide what other companies are providing, we in addition to we add these things. Okay, and the second thing is that we are coming from a medical side. Okay, we have exhaustively validated our entire end-to-end system within the clinical environment, which differentiates us from any other consumer product that is out there. But we are very, very grateful to all these consumer electronics companies to create that awareness. Okay, and kind of helping us to now help people who are seeing some fragmented sleep to take them through the clinical path in the most seamless way possible, so that they continue to stay healthy.
I mean, like I've tried it myself. I'm not sure if you remember. I've tried it once.
Wow.
And recently also you helped me figuring out, because my wife is in a different health system, so unfortunately she was not able to use Sleepiz, but she used like one of your competitor.
Yeah.
So thank you for your help, by the way, because I want to make sure she gets the best of the best. Like even if it's not your product, but I want to make sure it was the best. But tell me a little bit of the technology that is in this little box. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of sensors and data that is generated. So from a technological perspective, what's in here?
So what we are using is ultra low power radar systems. Okay, so there is a small radar that is inside. Okay, it has an antenna that emits electromagnetic waves and receives the electromagnetic waves from the body, from which we are able to calculate the micro and the macro motion of the human body very, very accurately, and can make analysis to talk about your breathing pattern. Okay, what is your breathing rate? How is your heart rate? Okay, and we can even identify, when you have these pauses in breathing that we call as the apnea event. Okay, respiration irregularities. Okay. It generates a ton of data that you did put it very, very rightly. Okay, and we then take that huge amount of data that we generate across one night. Okay, and compress it in a manner that is easily digestible for both doctors and patients.
Interesting. And tell me, like, in terms of the company, you founded it. I remember, like, when we had the course together at the university, that was the very, very early stages. I think it also was in the box back then.
No.
What was it? It was something different. I vaguely remember.
Yes, it was completely different. Okay, the fundamentals have always been the same. Okay, however, we have evolved from this entire journey that we have been taking. When we took the course, it was merely an idea. Okay, and it was very bare bone.
You had to research back. It was backed by research already back then.
I think that the physics, the fundamentals were backed by research, okay?
Yes.
But then making into a product, okay? Because there is something, the research that you do in the lab to bring to the product to solve the customer's problem, that's a whole different journey altogether. All of that we did within the umbrella of Sleepiz. The company was founded in 2018, okay? And since then, we have been, going on this topic, okay? We knew from the day one that we do not want to get lost in the gadget economy, where there are a ton of gadgets that are being published out there, but we had a very clear focus that we want to bring meaningful change into people's life, okay? And we had that very disease-focused mentality from the day one, okay? Going to one, end to one, and then continue to move on to more and more diseases. And hence, in that journey, the first hurdle that we had to take was, get that medical certification, okay? So the company had to qualify as a medical device manufacturer. So we had to do all this ISO 13485, establish all the processes that are very high quality processes, define the entire medical approval, clinical pathway, okay? Build the product in a manner that it is very safe and easy to use, conduct all the clinical studies, okay, pass all those tests, okay, they're very, very high quality benchmarks, okay, which are again a good testament of the high quality product that we are building, okay, that can then be plugged into the medical ecosystem, and then people can use it without having to second guess themselves, okay, on the quality of the outcomes.
Talk to me about you said 2018 you founded the company.
Yeah.
What was the fundraising process since then?
Oh my God! I think that's a very special journey in itself. Okay, since the inception of the company till that, fundraising has been a very challenge. Okay, I think it's inherently around the ecosystem that we are in the deep tech. We raised around. I don't have it, vaguely around 300K in the pre-seed round. Okay, moved on to raise around $1 million in the seed round, which was then followed by a 6.2 million raise in the Series A. So we did fairly well, compared to a young company in that domain. And also survived those tough times of COVID, where a medical device company such as ours, okay, literally had to pause all the clinical activities that we were doing because we had no easy access to clinical facilities or to people, okay. Yeah.
And like in the latest rounds, who are one of the most notable investors that you have on board now?
We have a very good mix of super angels and institutional and venture capitals in our let's say cap table, and they are very, very excited with what we are doing and are also helping us propel even through the tough times that we are currently in. But I'm very, very happy that we started the journey just with an idea, went through that entire process to build an amazing product, a medical product, a hardware, and are now in the commercialization phase. We launched in Switzerland, super excited with the kind of response we got from the market. We have now also built our telemedical arm, okay, and we're providing end-to-end care and are on a growth or a trajectory of a very, very high growth, which is very, very exciting times for a company.
Sure. But tell me, like you don't want to mention any of the VCs that invested, or whatever is publicly available.
Publicly available. There's Huawei Ventures that has invested in us. Hamex has invested.
Which one?
Hamex.
Hamex, I don't know.
Yeah, ZKB has invested. There is also some of the super angels from. There's Swiss Shark Tank, okay, the Lion's Den, Hule de Leuven.
You were there?
Yes.
How was this experience?
That was a very good experience, I must say, okay.
What, like in terms of what was good about it? Like
and the people who were there, they had, a very good experience on, how to bring product to the market, okay. And we had built an amazing product, okay, but to communicate to normal people, okay, to create that awareness, you needed a whole different
sleepless people.
To put the message out there so that they can embrace it. There was a whole different take on it, and the people who were there, they had ton of experience and exposure on how to build and cater to that industry. And we were very happy to have them as our investor as well, that they continued not only to put their money, but also the time and effort in nurturing, okay, and making sure that we do not do those expensive mistakes, okay.
So who joined there from the tank?
From there, I guess everyone joined.
It was everybody joined.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think...
So Roland Brak?
Yeah.
Are you selling it on Brak?
We have it there.
Really? Can I buy it there?
We never sell the box though. We always probably sell the
service. Yes.
Yeah. So I am not myself very sure where we are. Okay, we are in quite a broad number of places. Okay, but yes, he's also one of our investors.
Cool. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so you talk a lot about commercialization. Tell me a little bit about where you stand right now and what's the ambition.
Yeah, I mean, we are now starting to get more and more integrated into the Swiss healthcare ecosystem. So we started out, and we are now getting plugged into different traditional healthcare ecosystems, okay, who are now embracing this new way or new mechanism or methodology, if you will, into their clinical practice. This includes both medium-sized and large institutions, which are very, very exciting.
For example, it's hard for me to imagine. I don't know, like what's it, university hospitals and...
we are getting even more plugged into, for example, CSS has started to offer this to their loyalty insurance companies.
Interesting.
Okay? Because we are really going to the core, okay, of who is getting the highest value from this preventative care, and it is insurance companies, okay, and we're directly plugging into different care providers such as the telehealth companies, okay, within Switzerland. We're catering to all the large GP practices, okay, and are also welcoming more and more GPs to join our cohort, because they are the first point of contact when you have any sleep problems, or if you think you might have sleep problem, the first doctor you talk to is your general physician. And we were empowering all the stakeholders to come forward, okay, and embrace this very easy to use technology where they don't have to manage anything have trained specialists backing it up, okay, troublesome scheduling process, nothing. We take care of every aspect of the value chain, making sure that we deliver happy patients.
And in terms of one of the most questions asked more broad here, it's in Switzerland, it's less, but how big can this get? If you're thinking of where do you want this company to be in 5 to 10 years? Do you want to, you want hundreds of employees, or you want to have what's your goal?
When I think about it, I'm thinking more from, how many people have we helped, okay? So the key metric that I keep in my head is that, as of today, there are close to 5,000 people who have used Sleepiz, okay? And we want to increase that number, okay? We're doing it in one geographic. We want to bring it to more and more geographic, to more and more diseases, to cater to as many people as possible, okay? In the next 5 years, okay, I mean, my ambition is to take it to millions of people in the next 5 years, okay, so that we can really improve people's life, not only in Switzerland, but across the globe.
But by default, such a device, how long is it by each patient? Let's say 2 nights, 3 nighs?
So for sleep apnea, it is 3 nights.
3 nights. So let's say you have about 100 clients per device. You need a lot of devices.
Yes, we do need a lot of devices, okay? I think we are starting out with one disease. So depending upon what disease, the time horizon would also differ. And you have to also imagine that it takes time to ship them. They use it, they give it back to us. So each device can cater to it less. So with the ambitions that we have, we will need ton of devices, okay, of course. And we focus on using them as efficiently as possible, so that we can bring this to a broader population. Now, one of the challenge, and not the challenge, in fact, one of the good thing that we will see as we continue to scale is the price of the box will come down dramatically. Okay, that's where the economic of scale kicks in, making it even more and more affordable for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. to use the service, but not to buy it.
No.
Like there's no such a thing as like, I don't know. No, because I'm thinking if like, can you really measure within 3 days, you know, something meaningful that is meaningful enough for a whole, let's say, I don't know how you call this, like a treatment or a therapy session after, like that you know exactly what you need to do?
So the way we are tackling this issue is that we are trying to have a very good balance between providing the ease of use and also to ensure that you don't overuse it. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's also a big challenge.
Too much data.
Too much data can also kind of cloud your judgment. Okay. And hence that's also one of the things, you know, being in the medical side of the game or rather than a consumer, you are not only, you know, you're not too much focused on, you know, just put as much as possible, okay, get as much as possible, okay. We are really focused on how can we bring value to our user group, okay. Our users are, you know, kind of people who are challenged and have trouble sleeping, okay, and our focus is to screen them for sleep apnea. And if they are in any therapy, we can do more therapy control. And as a clinical guideline requires them to measure only for 1 night. We are doing 3 nights. We are being a bit more proactive in that sense to define more statistical data point
Yes.
for the doctors to make. But we are, again, trying to be very, very cognizant that we don't push too much information to both patients and the doctors, making, you know, let's say, kind of overwhelming the entire system too soon. However, there are cases where you would need more data point, okay, depending upon such kind of treatment and so on. There we are, you know, again, taking very customized approach towards specific diseases, okay, because at the end of the day, you have to think it's the patient that is at the center, okay. We can do certain things easily, doesn't mean that, you know, we create a new problem for ourselves.
Sure. So listen, like I want to talk in the second part of this a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
I think it's very unique. I don't think I know too many people or relationships that I have with people where I could say like I was there from the beginning, or at least partially from the beginning, you know. So I think
put it as beginning.
I feel like I truly honored to you know see how far you've come already now. So you know it's a big success. At least from the outside, I'm sure from the inside it's a lot of fires to extinguish all the time.
That's
like
true.
From the outside, it definitely like looks like already like a big success. And obviously like the learnings you've done in the last 6-7 years, obviously I'm sure. You know, will bring you very far in this world. But tell me, I mean, like I remember like this course. I think you met Max during that course.
Yeah.
You came with the idea. He came with, I guess, with the business background from St. Gallen.
Yeah.
How was that early days? You know, when he kind of like had to figure out how to divide up the roles, equity, everything.
Yeah, good that you ask. Okay, when I look back, okay. We met in the course, the way you put it, okay. We did quite a good amount of work during the course, okay. They laid the foundation. And Max already knew when I met that he wanted to do something in entrepreneurship, okay.
Right.
There are a lot of things he didn't know, but this one was like, you know, he had a very clear idea. I want to do that. And I had... the idea that, you know, the brag
a rocket
the
ship. You mentioned rocket ship, no?
Yeah,
I remember that.
and I think during the course, you know, Max also had the opportunity to talk to a couple of doctors about the problem that I was talking about, okay, and the way we could solve it. And those early conversations allowed him to also cement the idea that, you know, this is something big.
Sleep is a problem.
Yeah, this is something big that, you know, that we are talking about here, and it has been missed by a lot of people. Okay, and talking to Max or trying to hash out challenges, okay, has been something very, very easy. Okay, I felt with him that I didn't have to make an effort. Okay, it was very, very seamless. Okay.
The communication part.
The communication, understanding, okay. And I think that those were one of the very fundamentally good reasons, okay, to, you know, to make the decision, okay, is he the right co-founder, okay. For me, it was very easy to have those conversations, okay.
Natural.
And the values, the outlook were very, very seamless, okay. and hence it was an easy decision in that process, okay, to have those conversations, okay. Even some of the tough conversations were very, very easy to have.
What would you find as tough conversations? Like what were the topics?
In the early days, it would be, okay, how do we balance between the tech and the business, okay, how we set priorities, okay, or why, and so on and so forth. Even, trying to define what is the mission, what is the vision, okay. These are very, very fundamental, okay. And
so not even equity and salary, that was never an issue?
Never an issue.
Interesting.
Okay, I think
no, because that could be the biggest hurdle. I mean, like,
yes, I mean, we had ton of other issues
like
I could talk about.
Yeah, tell me. Like, I'm curious.
But these were not an issue, okay, for our conversations. I think
that's amazing.
We all did come with a decent amount of maturity to the table. Okay, when I reflect back, I am very proud of myself at that age. Okay, it's like, wow, good. We had a very good amount of maturity in that sense. And you can also see that 7 years down the line, up and growing, it doesn't happen like that. Okay, it has taken a lot of effort in building that. Okay, and what I really admire and kind of preserve in our culture is the mutual respect.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone in the team member has a good amount of mutual respect for each other. And this is very, very important. This has been, kind of taken for granted or not been very much spoken about. People talk about trust and other topics, which I think is very, very relevant. But respect is also something which is very, very important. And having mutual respect and preserving that as a culture is very important. And we have been doing that from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very, very inspiring. It's like, it sounds like the perfect marriage. I mean, like some fighting, but you can make up, and you have disagreements, but you can also negotiate or have a conversation.
Yeah, I think it's important that you are able to critique. Okay, you're not only saying yes to everything, but bring more rational aspect to the problems at times. They're sometimes not easy to explain, but then there are ways to also communicate that, why you intrinsically believe in something, even if, you are not able to find the right arguments. And being in the sleep part of the business, one very good thing is that we always sleep over our decisions.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, let's continue tomorrow and sleep.
Yeah, I think
you should make like some swag, like some t-shirts. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I can correlate. A couple of things are coming into mind already as you say that.
Getting some money for the company, like sleep before you talk, or I don't know.
I think this has been also very helpful. Okay, that whenever you are, especially in making those decisions, because we know enough about sleep, we also understand that it's very important to kind of, take a pause at that moment. Most of the time, decisions that are made in these tight, challenging rooms might not be the best for you or the entity or for others in the context. It's very important and it's very, very helpful. If you take a break, okay, and then think about it, okay, what's the implication? What are the things? Okay, reflect more. And sleeping over it actually helps, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Tell me a little bit about what you do outside of Sleepiz. I mean, besides sleep. So, is there any hobbies or anything that like balances you out really well?
Yes, I think what I have started to practice is to have really my Saturdays and Sundays to myself. Okay, as an entrepreneur, you're basically 365 days, 24/7 into that topic. However, I have reclaimed my weekends to myself.
Yeah.
And we are also kind of encouraging everyone in the company to have their own space over the weekends. Okay, and those are very good downtimes essentially.
But how did it affect you since you reclaimed the time?
Yeah, it allows me to be more calm, a bit more creative, okay, more thoughtful about things, okay? Because if you're always on the topic, going on and on and on, okay, you are kind of missing out on the bigger picture. Okay, and you can, you have the opportunity to take a two-step back and look at it. It was always here, very, very close to me, but somehow I was overlooking it. Okay, and some things, they just take time. Okay, and you also have to make peace with that. Okay?
Give me an example. I can tell you one. Sales takes time.
Yeah, no.
If you start the process now, it takes 6 months.
Exactly, and some of this being in the healthcare ecosystem, okay, when bringing a medical product, I think one of the challenge or what we underestimated was the uptake rate.
What does that mean?
Uptake rate means, how fast can a physician start using your product. Okay, you go, you show them. Okay,
the sales cycle.
The sales cycle. Okay,
I'm from the University of St. Gallen. I don't.
No worries. Sales cycle. These are very, very long in medical realm, and you just cannot make it fast. And this is for a very good reason, because a doctor is committing to a new technology for the decision making, not only for himself but for all his patients. They are putting their trust, the belief. Okay, even though you are already qualified as a medical device and solving that. But it takes some time to get into that zone, okay, to familiarize with this new technology and embracing that, okay, before fully committing to that. And even if there is a second doctor who is using it, that's no excuse that a third doctor will start to use it, okay. And I believe this is a good thing, okay. But for young companies such as us who are in the medical device realm, okay, long sales cycles are painful.
For sure.
Okay, and
the burn rate is still there.
Yeah, the burn rate is still there. That's not slowing down, and hence the challenge. But I think at the beginning there were a lot of anxiety and challenges. Okay, but the moment you start to understand and empathize on the other side, okay, you start to understand your customer more and more better. Okay, yes, if they are signing up to something so big, it does make sense. Okay, even I would do that. Okay, so it is okay. It is okay for that. And these early days that we are spending time on it, okay, we're building that relationship, building that cadence. Okay, this is going to pay off in the long run. Okay, and we always bring up, why did we start this entire journey in the first place? To bring that meaningful impact. Okay,
and it takes time.
And it takes time. Rome was not built in a day. But as a young, enthusiastic entrepreneurs, okay, when we are putting the numbers on our Excel sheet, okay, it can be misleading.
It's very red. Still red. Yes. Tell me, to wrap up this episode, tell me about something that keeps you inspired. So, like, is there any favorite book or a favorite podcast or something they would say, like, you go to if you need some inspiration?
Thinking Fast and Slow.
Oh yeah, you like that book?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I think everything.
What's his name?
Daniel Kahneman.
Yeah, yes.
And one of the reasons why I would like to visit Israel.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a masterpiece. Okay, nothing even comes close as a second to me.
Really?
Yeah, really.
What do you like about it? Why do you think it's a masterpiece?
It really helps you understand yourself. Okay, it pushes you to kind of pause. Okay, and it helps you and reflect on how you have been digesting information. In today's age, or let's say we call it this information age, we are flooded with information. Everyone is throwing a lot of things at us. Okay, and every single moment you are taking decisions. Okay, and we somehow convince ourselves on the decisions that we are taking. And this book really helps you take a pause, understand your biases, helps you understand and reflect upon that. It doesn't give you any this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. That's not what the book is for. It really helps you to take a pause back and helps you navigate in today's information age in a manner where you can take meaningful decisions, understand yourself, and make more impact.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
I think it's a true honor and privilege for me to see your journey. Thank you very much for letting me be part of it. And I wish you continued success.
Thank you. I'm very, very happy to be back here, okay, and talking to you. I still remember when we were talking at Enge, that was the place where you had
Yes.
made the first video of Sleepiz, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And we're
That's,
again connecting 7 years after that, okay? And still going. Okay?
Oh, that was just a pitch video.
That
I
was a
remember.
pitch
That was a
video.
pitch video. You needed it for some kind of competition.
No, it was for the course.
It was for the, no, it was
Yeah.
not for the course.
It was not for the course.
So we did two. We did one for the course, I'm pretty sure, and we did another one that lived on my YouTube channel for a very long time.
Yeah, it's still there, or
I don't know. We can check.
I guess it's there. Yeah.
I assume so.
No, I'm very, very happy to be back. Okay, always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.